I was fortunate in that 40% group that landed a full-time job in 2010. I started at Cargill and I was in their plant manager trainee program where
Oh,
essentially I was learning how to run a facility that made animal feed, something that I never saw myself doing. I moved from Minneapolis down to a town called Seguin, Texas, which is a rural town in Texas of about 10,000 people. I'm 22 years old, had just been in China the year before, and now I'm a city guy all of a sudden in rural Texas, with cowboy boots and a hard hat and leather gloves going to work, learning how to run one of these facilities. So if you can guess, I wasn't very happy in that job. It just wasn't me. Although I was fortunate to kind of get a job and land a career, I knew that it wasn't the career path that I wanted to pursue, going from rural Texas to rural Oklahoma to rural other towns around the country. So after a year, I kind of decided to take a chance on myself and say, you know what, I really am grateful for the opportunity, but I had to part ways. I parted ways with the company, decided to quit, moved back to Minnesota, and then it was a fresh start. Luckily, one thing I did want to kind of shout out my Johnnies and where I went for my undergraduate degree because they were really helpful. I think when I came back to Minnesota in summer of 2011, I reached out to some of my friends and colleagues that I had graduated with, and shout out to Nathan Calderon if he listens, or I'll tag him on LinkedIn. But he was working at this company, Outsell, and he was a seller there, really kind of an entry, level account manager, account executive type of role. And he said, "Mark, have you thought about sales?" And I said, "No." My dad's been doing it. And
that's
I don't
that
think
is
that's the
about.
career path for me. It's too stressful. I'm not around. I don't want to work at, he's like, "No, this is not that kind of job." And so my entry into sales, and when I say entry, it was, very entry level, at Outsell. It was a company of about, think maybe 60 or 70 employees, and it grew very rapidly. It was a SaaS product in the automotive space. Funny enough, it was digital marketing for automotive dealerships, which is an industry that I grew up my whole life around and going to the auto show in Minneapolis. So I knew it. I knew what internet sales manager cares about and doesn't care about. So I had that benefit, and kind of the stars aligned, so to speak, in terms of that opportunity. And so that was my entry into tech sales, was that account manager job where I was working with internet sales managers of automotive dealerships across the country and across every brand from Toyota to Ford to Mercedes. It.
So did your friend? Maybe I missed that piece,
Mhm.
but did your friend recommended you? Like, he took your resume, gave it to the hiring manager? How was like the initial like getting the job? Right? Was that
Yeah.
super hard? You had a lot of interviews. Just the past skills, like how
Mhm.
that worked out for you during the
Uh,
process.
I so yeah, he did. It was a smaller company, so it was 60 employees. So he definitely, I think the whole sales team was, I think, five of us with one sales manager. And so he did recommend me. Funny enough, that the first job that I actually interviewed for, they said it was more of a customer service. It was not even selling. It was more account management, customer support kind of thing. But after about, I think, 2 or 3 months, they saw that I like to talk to people and build relationships, and that's
Okay.
the benefit of working at a small company like that, is if you show that you're putting forth effort and you're doing things proactively, you can kind of quickly make moves, and it's not so much hierarchical as bigger corporations. Startups move very rapidly. And so yeah, my first job was really, I think, a customer support rep, where it was taking emails, replying to them, or taking calls and replying to them, and kind of solving problems. But yeah, I did that. I almost don't even mention it because I was in that role for maybe 60 days or 90 days or less before I moved to kind of an account manager role. But yeah, I think he helped me with kind of getting on the short list to be interviewed. And since he was already there and doing well, and I think he had been there less than a year because we had graduated at the same time. And yeah, so that definitely helped me know where to look, because I didn't know that I wanted to be in sales, that I would like it. But sometimes I would say, last thing I'll say is, people see things in you that you don't see in yourself. Things like that can kind of snowball, right? Or give you opportunities that you don't even think about. It really does help to, of course, have someone open a door for you and to see your potential before you even see it yourself.